Hello, my dear folks, my dear audiences, welcome to the show. My name is Jack Chow. I'm with the East West Show for years. This is the third of this series talking about in commemoration of the 77th anniversary of Nanking Massacre committed by the Japanese war criminals in the year of 1937 in the city of Nanjing in China while they invaded China. Well, like I said in the last show, that we all learn from history because history is our teacher. History is our mentor. History is our parents. To teach us those crazy kids not to do what not to do, what we can feel free doing. Now, joining me today are a wonderful gentleman. First, I will introduce officially to Mr. Quintero.
Pleasure.
Quintero
if you speak Spanish.
All right, good Spanish. Mr. Quintero is the founder and the founder of the organization of Commemoration Committee of Nanking Massacre.
Yes, when I served as the, not the Nanking Massacre, but as I served as a mayor of Glendale, I became very aware of the comfort women situation in Korea and China, Vietnam.
Sure. Let me do the introduction first because this great individual has lots of hats, more hats than I could count. And he was even a three-time mayor of the city of Glendale, a beautiful city, I know. And a financial city, lots of banks, right?
Right.
Beautiful banks. And his involvement is his recent involvement that got the attention of this show that have him invited to talk. And joining him is my good friend, Mr. Joshua Young. And he's the director of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce
MBDA.
Chamber of Commerce supported the Small Business Center of Los Angeles area.
Let me just correct that. Good morning, Jack, for inviting me here. My name is Joshua Yoon. I belong to Minority Business Development Agency. We're under the U.S. Department of Commerce to support all the minority business enterprise in the United States.
Sure. All right. Very good. So both of you, my warm welcome.
Thank you.
And on behalf of my audiences who do remember the dark page of history of Nanking Massacre, I would like to say what you do really touched the heart of everybody. So please, sir, I would like to bring your background a little bit to my audience. Can we please, starting from your mayorship? I know you're a wonderful person.
Well, thank you.
Please.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. But yes, I served as a mayor of Glendale. My background, I have a degree in political science. I actually am a veteran of the war in Vietnam.
Oh, I see.
Went as a very young man. And for 28 years, I owned a company, had an organization that helped people to find jobs and employment, one in downtown Los Angeles and another one in Glendale. So I worked with immigrants from all over the world, of course, Chinese, Koreans, Vietnamese. And so I eventually got into politics, and I've always studied history and so forth, so I was aware of what the Imperial Army did during the Second World War, specifically as it related to what they called comfort women, which really were sexual slaves, mostly younger girls, taken from Korea, from China, from the Philippines, from Indonesia. And so on one of my trips to Korea, I actually met some of the older women, the grandmas as they're called. I met with them and listened to their story. And of course it was a horrible story, but at the same time a story with details, a story where they could recount where they went, what cities, what part of Asia, and so forth. And so I decided that putting a statue in their memory in Glendale would be a very good idea.
Sure.
And it is
that gave birth to
that's
the
it. That gave birth to it.
of the comfort woman
That's
in
right.
the city of
That's
Glendale.
right. And it's a human rights issue. It goes beyond women. It goes beyond Asia. It's a human rights issue. And we have a large Armenian population in the city of Glendale. And a genocide took place during the First World War, beginning and end,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And so that genocide is not recognized by the government, the successor government that did it. And so we proceeded and we succeeded in that well-placed statute, well-placed monument in the Central Park of Glendale. And that's
All right.
how it happened.
To my audiences, I owe my appreciation to Mr. Joshua Young, because it was him that brought Mr. Jack Quintero here to talk about his side of the story, which is of course the information that we all need to know, plus a great statue that's already there. So, what is your involvement? Because I know you have Korean origin.
Yes.
Right? So is it because you're Korean origin?
Oh, no, not at all.
Because
Not at all. I guess by definition, I am a Korean American. But as the only government federal agency that is specifically targeting the minority, I do have a pretty good pulse on every community, whether this is Afro American, or Japanese American, Chinese American, or Korean American. Unfortunately, I didn't really know what really went on with Mr. Quintero's involvement, what he was trying to do. But it was after that I got to find out, after they set the status in the city of Glendale, there was the story that was breaking out that really got my attention.
I see.
That's how I got involved. And eventually I was referred to Mr. Quintero by a friend of my acquaintance.
I see.
And then, we're talking to Mr. Quintero that we do have some common interests, which is about job supplement employment service, which is workforce through the workforce organizations. And that's when we found the common interest. And then I found out what he has been going through since the setting up the statue, and I really want him to really go and tell public what really has happened.
Thank you thank you very much for your involvement. You know, Mr. Quintero, I have a question. May I please? If we say my involvement might be the fact that I am a Chinese American, his involvement might be his background of being a Korean American, which is not necessarily the case. We can't just assume that. So that brings me automatically to the questions that what makes you the motivation of your involvement?
My involvement.
You are neither a Chinese American nor are you a Korean American.
Right.
You are Spanish American.
Right, my family is from Spain.
I judge by the last name, Quintero.
Quintero.
Okay. So what is motivation of your involvement?
Well, look, I think my motivation, to tell you the truth, comes from my grandparents who were immigrants to the United States from Spain, and from my littlest days. Both of my grandfathers and one of my grandmothers always taught me what I say in English, to do the right thing.
I see.
That when something isn't right, when something isn't fair, then you have to speak up. You can't just stand by and let something happen. And so as I told you, I studied political science, I studied history, and I'm very irritated when a nation or a people or a group denies a historical fact. And so this was a historical fact, what was done to these young women. The rape of Nanjing, the issues, the atrocities that took place in that city in the beginning of the Second World War, that's a historical fact. And for people to deny it, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me.
Exactly. So from grandmother, Mr. Quintero learned one thing, lesson one, to do the right thing.
That's right.
To do the right thing. Such a quotation, I take it as a slogan. Lots of people these days Well, I can't guarantee that 100% of people are aware of the fact that we need to do the right thing. So, doing the right thing for him means that at a certain time, he motivated his folks, people around him, to put up a statue of Comfort Woman in the city of Glendale. Now, if you visit the city of Glendale, the beautiful city in the Central Park, you see a poor woman sitting there as a statue of the Comfort Woman. Lots of people bring flowers
That's right.
to the statue. Lots of people pay tribute to the statue. And lots of people are reminded about the dark page of history by the statue. So for that, I believe that you have received lots of challenges, even at the starting period
From
of
the
time,
beginning,
right?
yeah.
From the very beginning. Let's take a very short moment. When we come back, though, sir, may we please start from the very day one when you came with the idea about the statue. How did you do it? How did you have realized that such a goal, step by step? I know there's a city ordinance issue. I know there's a land issue, property issue, and there is a political subject issue, right? So thanks to my good friend Joshua Young, who brought a great individual to the show. His name is Frank Quintero, a great individual who initiated something that we never thought of. We thought we might do it, but not that concrete, not that solid. And from day one, he's received lots of challenges from all kinds of angles. I'm touched, I'm convinced. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll find out step by step how he and his people realize it step by step. Shall we please? Right back.